YouTuber, tuber like a tuber, how is it going? It's Multiplier here now. Let me tell you a screensaver's already on a screensaver. Screensaver interrupting my... Let me tell you a story. So, to update to Ableton Live 10, this is Ableton Live 9, but I do have Ableton Live 10. To update to Ableton Live 10, I had to be on OS X 10. Memory of a goldfish. Found it. Okay, so I was on OS 10, Macintosh OS 10.10, and to get Ableton Live 10 on my computer to make it work, I need to be on OS 10.11, which is one higher. Now I know what you're thinking. I'll put this phone away. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Multiplier. Apple's up to 10.13. So why were you on 10.10? Why was it such a big deal to update to 10.11? Boink, as that means you are years and years behind. Don't Apple give away all their software updates for free? Yes, they do, all free. All the updates are free. However, here's some knowledge. Here's something I've learned about computers. Wisdom is starting now, and then I'll give you some specifics. So, if you have a computer, it could be anything, a computer, and there's some software on it, do not upgrade the computer or the OS, the operating system, unless you absolutely need to. 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 I've said it lots of times because of how important this statement is. I'll say it again. Do not update your computer or your operating system unless you absolutely need to. This is because computers are stupid and software is stupid and it always breaks. Always breaks, there's always problems, and it's actually ridiculous. It's a bit stupid, and I don't know why everything always breaks. Basically, no one has any idea how a computer works. Now you think I'm joking, but I'm not really joking at all. There's a company making a computer, and then as one person or a small team of people, some people make a bit of it, some people make another bit, some people make it, and then it all sort of gets put together, and then hopefully it works. And same with software. Somebody makes a bit of the software, and that bit of the software is built on some other software that somebody else made, and then that's built on some other software that somebody else made, and then that's built on a library of things, and then it's like a giant Jenga tower of stuff built upon other things, and then something gets taken out. Or Jenga, Jenga. You've seen Jenga, a topple tower. Everything's built on other things, and when you make a new bit of software or a new update, an upgrade, you sort of add a bit on top, and then you take a bit away, and it's sometimes fine, other times it's odd tips, and other times you pull a bit out and it goes, oh no, it's all fallen down. That is basically what software and computers are. And so if you have a Jenga tower, if you have a tower of Jenga that has not fallen down, it's very stable, it's a good tower, it's sturdy, everything's working correctly. What you don't want to do is go, ooh, you know what I could do just for fun is pull a bit out, put another bit on. Wouldn't that be good? So then that would be good. Computers always go wrong. They always break. There's always problems, and no one has any idea how they work. For proof of this, you only have to look at the fact that there exists such a thing as computer bugs, as bugs in the software, as mistakes. As if someone knew how it all worked, there wouldn't be such a thing as a bug, because they would know how it all works, and so they could just check, is it working? And then look at this as another recent problem with the Mac OS, for example. I mean, they fixed it, but I mean, computers, they just don't work. What you don't want to do is sacrifice stability for a feature or a cool new look that you don't even want or need anyway. So do not update. Let me give you some specifics. And so when I updated from 10.10 to 10.13, which I didn't want to do, I wanted to update to 10.11, but of course Apple won't let you do anything apart from what they want you to do. I used to work for Apple, by the way, so I don't think I'm hating on Apple. I'm actually an Apple fanboy, just don't trust computers. So I updated to 10.13 and everything went wrong. I wouldn't say, it wasn't the biggest disaster in the world. It was somewhere in between a volcano and your house getting flooded. Specifics, okay, so Soundflower deleted itself. iCloud deleted all my Pixelmator documents. No idea why. I had backups, obviously. I mean, as you all know in my video about backups, I have a very rigorous backup system, so I didn't lose any data. but it did delete a load of my data for literally no reason, which is stupid. Also, load of bugs on the startup screen where it sort of goes bzz and then it misses a bit, and then I need to restart the computer because the little box doesn't appear. I've no idea why. That was a bit stupid. Also, screen flow. Now, loads of mistakes. Loads of screen flow. Okay, so screen flow. The screen flow is basically my screen recording software. It's what everyone in the world uses. 99.something% of everyone who records screens across any industry uses ScreenFlow. And so you would think, this being literally the industry standard screen recording software, that it would work perfectly, which it did not. It was very stable on my previous system. It almost never made mistakes. It made a few mistakes sometimes, but it almost never made mistakes. I update to 10.13 and then I export and it goes black. Everything's black and it just doesn't work. And so I spend a whole day trying to figure out why. I do some research and it turns out ScreenFlow are aware of this and they don't have a solution. They kind of have a solution, and then this is why you will start to agree with me that computers are stupid and no one has any idea how they work. So ScreenFlow, the company that literally makes the best, if you screen record, you use ScreenFlow. They have zero competition. Their solution to why when I import a .mov file, I think movie, this sort of thing, the thing you're looking at now, video footage, when you import that into ScreenFlow onto export, they've no idea why on certain machines for certain types of graphics cards, it just goes black. They've literally no idea why, and they don't have a solution. All they do, now this is the funny part, their solution, they've no idea why this works, is to add in fact I'll do a little screen, this. So I have to add a filter to my video with vibrance 0. So it doesn't do anything, but you do have to have that on there for ScreenFlow to export correctly, which is just what this is the world we live in, where literally they've no idea why I need to do this. They didn't tell me. They don't tell anybody. You have to dive into the forums, and the representative of ScreenFlow told us this. But yes, you do have to do that for literally no one has any idea why. So it kind of works, but I lost the day and it's just stupid. It sums up everything wrong in the world. Also, ScreenFlow actually doesn't work half the time. That was an exaggeration. It doesn't work for lots of situations. So when I have Safari open and on almost any website and I ScreenFlow, crashes. Also, if I have Evernote open and I do a screen recording, crashes. No one has any idea why. It's totally bananas. And that was all because I had to update my operating system to 10.13. Also, this is also really stupid. So, you know, on a computer, you have what's called a desktop background. You've probably seen these before. I have a picture of a surf wave, but I actually don't. That was my old desktop. I keep changing it because I want a different one. Almost every day, I change the desktop background to what I want my new background to be, which is this. Nice color, very clean, very simple. And then pretty much randomly, at some point throughout the day, it will go back to a surf wave. Just by itself, no idea why. And that's not the biggest of deals in the world. I understand. Having your desktop background just randomly change back to what it was before, not a big deal. But also, what I think companies should stop adding new features. It's kind of trivial, but at the same time sums up the big problem with computers, which is everything goes wrong. No one has any idea how they work. I mean, that's not a feature. That's just clearly a bug. That's something going wrong. And Apple has no idea why, of course. Why would they? They made the software. So yes, basically, the whole spirit, if you've learned anything from this story, my story time with Multiplier, it is that do not update your computer, do not update your software under any circumstances unless you absolutely need to. In the case of me, that was Ableton Live 10, which of course I absolutely need. There's no, I live in Ableton. So of course I needed it. And I knew at some stage in the next 5 to 7 years I needed to update. So I kind of took this as an opportunity to update and then deal with all the chaos. It's a principle that I think should be understood by the world. So just because Apple released an update or maybe released a new little computer device with less ports, the MacBook Super Pro with 0 ports, that'll be the next product, I'm sure. If your system is stable, do not update unless you absolutely need to. Otherwise, chaos will ensue. Stuff just doesn't work. All of this stuff, bits and bobs plugged in, all of this needs to talk to each other. And it's a miracle if it ever does. Awesome. My name has been Multiplier. That has been a weird little spin. That's how I'm going to finish this video, with a weird little spin. I will catch you guys on the flippity flip.